Now you went back over to AAA. You were talking about before. You would go back and forth between Mexico and Japan. You went back over and you turned on El Hijo del Santo, and you joined forces, I believe, with Art Barr.
Right.
What are your memories of that?
I couldn't stand Art Barr. I hated him. I didn't hate him. I shouldn't say that. You know, God forbid. I didn't like him. I didn't like we just butted heads at first. You know. I remember when they told me, you know, that he had this idea, and I was like, I don't know, Art, you know. And then he finally convinced me, and I said, okay. Then we talked to Tonio, and Tonio liked the idea, Tonio Peña. And,
right.
You know, the deal where he puts on the mask, that's my memory, you know, where he puts on the mask. You know, I get the powder in the eyes, and he puts on the mask, and I just see the face of Santa hit me. That was my brother Mondo's idea from a long time ago. I just stole it from him. No, I told him about it. He said, yeah. So we did that, and it got old, you know, and from there, you know, I just remember how things between me and Art just totally, not because things went good in the ring, you know, because we struggled there, you know, first month or so tag teaming. But I mean, it just, even before that, his attitude with me and my attitude with him. I shouldn't say him, I should say me.
Right.
I guess my attitude towards him was changing positive because, you know, first of all, who am I to judge? You know, and I found myself being judgmental and being wrong in the way I was portraying him, you know, because I was just looking at the outside when in reality he was one of the most beautiful persons I've ever met. You know, inside.
I was going to ask you what your initial thoughts of Art were when you first met him.
Yeah, those were it.
Okay.
You know, just a beautiful person.
Did you initially think that both of you would make such a great tag team, or you had your doubts, you said?
I wasn't even thinking about the tag team. It just little by little, I guess, man, he read me like a book, and I was able to read him. You know, the chemistry was there.
Definitely.
You know, it was good chemistry.
What did you think of Konnan during your run in Mexico?
Konnan, I love Konnan. You know, Konnan started about a year after I did, and we worked Juarez together, Tijuana together.
Right.
You know, a lot of that. I think I was mentioning to you before that. You know, I guess I don't agree with a lot of his business methods, but as far as a friend, he's always been a true friend to me. You know, business-wise, well, he's out for himself. And he even told me one time, he goes, well, you know, if it means whether I go to Japan or you, I said, well, I'll see you when I get back. You know, and well, that's the way this business is. You can't hold that against him, you know, because the bottom line is like what I said before. He's got to feed his family, and he's got to pay his bills, you know, and I got to do that. Now, what I don't agree in, which he never did to me, is snaking somebody out of a job. But he never did that to me, and I've never seen him do that to other people. I've heard about it, but I've never seen that. But as for me, Carlos has always been a true friend, and he's been a lot of fun to be around.
Who came up with the name and the gimmick of Los Gringos Locos?
The people did.
The fans.
The fans. Because we were originally going to be called American Machine.
Right.
Because Love Machine, you know. We're doing the American gimmick, so it was going to be the American Machines, you know. And when we started, I think it was about almost 2 months into that, where we just started. Wow. It was really Art, you know, because I had no charisma back then anyway. Not that I do now, I don't know. But the thing is that he just blossomed. His charisma just came out, you know, and that's when I was into suplexing and all that. So right. I just suplexed everybody and their mother. And he was the charisma and you know, our entertainment part of it. I was the workhorse, he was the entertainment part of it. And little by little, I guess, Art brought out the people were calling, a bunch of crazy gringos, you know, Los Gringos Locos.
All right.
And it stuck. And Tonio, being, you know, smart though he is, man, he got that and put it on us.
What did you think of the amazing heel heat that you guys received by the fans?
The Amazing what?
Heel Heat.
Oh God! Wow. For me, it was easy because in Mexico, I was a Mexican that was raised in the States, born and raised in the States. So that right there is natural heat. And then me using the American flag, you know, knowing that my heritage is Mexican. Oh man, because that was easy because Mexicans are very proud, very proud people. And Art just lit it up with that too. I didn't think we were going to get that much heat, but we wound up getting a lot of heat, you know, especially I think a lot of our heat came from that nobody would beat up Octagon and Santo the way me and Art used to beat them up. And I remember those first matches too, man. We literally had to stretch them and shoot them because the mentality in Mexico, oh no, I'm a superstar, I can't sell. And me and Art were like, well, okay, you don't want to sell.
Were there any incidents ever with the fans, you know, trying to attack all the time?
I was maced twice, piss thrown at me, bags of piss, Pampers full of shit, pesos thrown at me, you know, hitting the head, almost in the eye, rocks, name it.
Right. Memories of Louie Spicolli, who wrestled at the time as Madonna's boyfriend.
Oh, Louie, man. Yeah, I remember I had a match with him about a year before that, and 2 years before that, and I wrestled with him in a small arena up in LA, and we had a good little match. I have good memories of Louie, man. Good memories.
Did you like working better as a babyface or a heel in Mexico? And
I'm a heel.
Can you describe the differences?
I'm a heel 100%. I don't know. I can work babyface, I guess, but I don't feel it as much as when I work a heel. My dad always brought that aggression in me. You know, when he trained me, he to be aggressive, and I got a lot of that aggressiveness. That style is what, you know, like I said, with the grace of God, is what allowed me to be successful in Japan. As far as the difference between being a babyface and a heel, nowadays you can be aggressive as a heel, you know, and just focus your aggression towards your opponent.
Right.
Like, you know, Stone Cold does and The Rock and all that, that's the new era of the babyface heel, you know. But it wasn't still then there, you know. As a babyface back then, you'd have to hold back, you know. As far as here in the States, I wouldn't know how to be a babyface here in the States. The only reason I was kind of a babyface with China was, as Latino, he was because of China. They wanted to like China, but they wanted to hate me.
Right.
You know, so.
How are you and Art approached about losing your hair at the When Worlds Collide pay-per-view?
Well, actually, it was just going to be me and El Santo. And I couldn't come to an agreement. And then Art talked to Ron Scholar at that time.
Right.
And suggested a different angle. And we both came up on this. And it was really a no-brainer because we already had the feud going. So it was really Art's idea. And, you know, we're all able to be happy with the money stipulations.
Were you happy with the pay-per-view, the way it turned out?
Yes. The match, yes.
Was there any plans to split the team up, Art and yourself up?
There were already, that night, we were supposed to, I guess, have a little bit of a...
Right. Tease it.
And from what I understand, we're going to get back. But me and Art never had plans on you know, going against each other. If anything, we were just getting rolling. It was too soon of doing it.
Right. What do you remember about the deal for you and Art to come to ECW and feud with Public Enemy?
Art, I never talked to Paul Lee directly about it, but I talked to Art, and I think Art was talking to Paul Lee about it. And I knew we were supposed to come in and work something. Or there was talk of it. But it never materialized, and obviously he passed away, you know, after that. But Art had suggested it to me, and he told me that, you know, there was talk about it.
Did anybody else express interest in you guys as far as other promoters, WCW or?
No.
Okay. I guess how did Art change? I guess from the time as time went on after you first met him.
I don't know, man. Just I think it was me changing. Art didn't have to change. One thing I found out through my experiences in life is that if I don't like something, usually it's me that has to change.
Right.
It's very easy for me to point the finger at somebody and say, well, you did this, this. The bottom line is I have to change because that's life and that's circumstances. And I can either whine and bitch and moan, or I can change myself and make the best out of the situation.
How did you find out that Art passed away?
Oh, God. I got a call in Japan when it happened. I was in Japan. I think I'm not sure if it was the beginning of the tour or it was towards the middle of the tour. And it was my soon-to-be ex-wife. She called me and she was crying. I said, what's the matter? And she was, Art's dead. I said, what? She said, Art. Well, I didn't know which Art she was talking about. My best friend from El Paso, Art Barr. And I thought she was talking about the guy from El Paso because, So what happened? Was he in a car accident? What? He goes, no, he OD'd. I said, what are you talking about? She goes, I think it's an OD. And I said, what are you talking about? And she goes, Art. And that didn't sound important in that one. Art Barr. And just get chills today. And I said, no, he's not dead. I couldn't believe it. I said, call a hospital right now and tell me where he's at. He's dead. No, he's not. And I couldn't accept it. It took me about a good hour to accept it. I just couldn't believe it.
How did his death affect you personally and also affect you professionally?
Well, personally, I still think about it today. I knew Art didn't want to die. He wanted to live for his boy at that time. He was going to have another one. I know he didn't want to die. I asked myself that question for a long time. Why he died. How it affected me made me more appreciative of my life at that time. Scared me off a lot of things at that time.
Right.
One thing that did affect me business-wise, though, was that it even lit more of a fire under my ass to, I guess, make money. I don't even want to say be successful, because success is measured in different ways. Make money. It lit a fire under my ass to make money just in case anything ever happened to me. My children would have, my family would have something. That's what it did.
Right.
And it scared the hell out of me at that time. It scared the hell out of me with pills, with drugs. It really did.